Okay, I'm afraid to say it, but Gary, here we go. 3, 2, 1. You're on, baby.
Thank you very much, Kenny. I'm Gary Kroger. Welcome to the Gary and Kenny Show. I am joined by Kenny Seisler. Hi, Kenny.
Calabasas, California.
I didn't even say I was in Waterloo.
Huh?
I didn't say I was in Waterloo. I thought I'd forego that this time. It seemed kind of uninteresting by now. But you mentioned you're in Calabasas.
Wait, you did say you were going to be a little depressed. I didn't think you were going to be.
No,
dark.
I'm not depressed. I just didn't mention Waterloo. It's dark and dreary and cold and rainy today. The world's on fire, and my friends are dying. But what do you want to talk about?
So my mother-in-law is 100 years old, as we've discussed.
I know we've talked about.
Went into the hospital, and she had a UTI thing, and she dehydrated, and she's 100 and stuff like that. But she went into the hospital, and then they put her into rehab, where she's been for like the past month. Now, previous to this, she would stay at my house or the other houses, sisters' houses, because she could go up and down the stairs. But we don't think she's going to be able to go down the stairs now. So now they're really freaking out on what the thing is. Do you put her back in her apartment and get full-time help, which is very expensive, or you put her in one of these homes, which, connotation wise, and she would freak out and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you afford all of these stuff? So they are in a dilemma that so many of us, when I talk to my friends, all their friends it's like, my mother's 102. And it's like, wow.
Well, I would have to say, though, she's 100 years old. There was a little lead time. I mean, you didn't just start thinking about this when she turned 100.
The lead time, nope.
You get to 90 and you start thinking about
it. It occurred to me, but they didn't. I don't think the family could, because she was kind of taking herself for a long time. She was
lucid. She's still lucid, right?
Totally. That's like the problem. She understands everything that's going on.
You wish there was a little dementia.
It's like I wish I could just say no. It's not a home. You're on.
No, you already.
It's a vacation.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is a beautiful hotel on the beach.
Well, we tried to fool my mother with that just a little bit. Oh no, Mom! Everybody's living in an apartment that's 5 feet by 6 feet.
Yeah.
You got everything.
So I don't. So this is a dilemma that a lot of people are having at our age because their parents. And the question then becomes, and this is what I found out, that rather than there are policies. So if you're 30 years old now, there are policies that will take care of you when you need to be taken care of.
Except no 30-year-olds thinking about that. They're not even thinking about a 401k. They're spending money going to concerts and buying bigger houses.
There are, ladies and gentlemen, there are apparently places now. I don't think anybody 30 years old or whatever listens to us. And I don't know. And the problem is they don't have disposable income, that they're going to take that income and now put it in something responsible that they may or may not use, because who knows if they're going to live or whatever. But one of Deborah's friends did it, and what a comfort it was to everybody that they knew that they didn't have to pay anything. It was all taken care of because they had planned in advance.
Well, but most people don't. Look, thank God for SAG-AFTRA pension, which I didn't even realize I was earning when I was a young actor until they said, hey, you're vested now. And what does that mean? You'll get a pension. I didn't even know I had a pension. Thank God that I did, because like every kid, I wasn't planning for anything. I was living for the moment. I know a lot of people our age, Kenny, who weren't successful, who didn't make a lot of money. They have no 401, they have no pension, and they don't know what's going to happen to them. My mother saved well. When my dad died, there was plenty of money to put her in a home when she needed one. But still, Kenny, the last 6-7 years of my mother's life, this little old lady living in a room, it cost $100,000 plus a year just to have this little room and food.
Because we're the baby boomers, we are possibly what a burden we are going to be on the young.
We are going to be,
and as we always say, thank God we won't be alive.
We won't
when
be
that happens. We are going to be such a burden.
Well, we're going to be such a burden on the Social Security, and I take my Social Security, and frankly, I need it. And look, we live well with pension, and my wife is
Right.
still working, et cetera, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. But when you look at the cost, it's a crime, Ken, that in America we don't just take care of the elderly. At some point, when someone no longer has the means, the fact that it costs them so much just to live decently. I mean, that's just ridiculous. How can this be the greatest country in the world when we don't take care of our people with health care? We don't take care of, it's maddening. It's senseless. It's such a contradiction to greatness that we don't take care of the health of the population. All right.
Well, I was just worried about me, but that's
Yeah,
nice
yeah. But there's everybody.
Bring
else.
up everybody else.
Well, really,
Yeah.
I'm just worried about you too, Kenny. Why don't we take care of Kenny?
Yes.
But the world's look, Kenny. You said I am down today. I am down. It's hard after the situation in Israel. It's hard to feel good about. It's just hard to feel good right now. I tried to be funny on Facebook, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? That's so disrespectful. And I just took it off, and it's just the wheels are coming off, Kenny.
Yeah, no, it's horrific. And I guess, I mean, I do wonder this kind of evil that happened, that humanity can do that to other people. Whether from the Holocaust, evil is always the people can do something so horrible to another human being. Is there any other species in the animal kingdom that will attack itself and kill itself in the horrible way?
I don't. This is going to sound flippant, but my gerbils, one gerbil ate the other. But I don't see us as particularly different. What human beings are capable, but they also aren't sentient. Gerbils, okay. No, they're
right.
It's
it could be
inconceivable.
the gerbil could not know what it's doing.
It didn't. It was hungry.
Right.
But human beings with any consciousness and conscience, what we are capable of, and there's a tendency to look at the Holocaust and say, oh, well, that happened 70 years ago. It wouldn't happen again. We're the same species.
No, I know it's part of us. That's the thing. It's humankind, and I don't know. That's the thing that's so frightening about this thing is that's who it's in our DNA as human beings to do. You think that it wouldn't be plausible because if I was a Nazi or if I was in Hamas, would I have a conscience, or am I so brainwashed that I would just follow the orders of people and commit?
My wife and I were talking about this. We were talking about it in the simple context of bullies on the playground, bullies in high school. And for whatever reason, Kenny, I've always known not to be a bully. My friends did things and put rocks and snowballs and threw them at cars and made fun of kids whose ears stuck out. I never did. And my wife said, well, you had good parents, but I don't remember any indoctrination from my parents as this is what good people do. I just have always felt, and I'm not trying to wear a halo right now, but I think that it's possible to know what the right thing is to do. I think it's possible to be a good person. It isn't that hard, Kenny, to not hurt people. From my point of view, it's not that hard to be a good person. So what happens? And again,
Anger.
I mean, the circumstances here.
It's just
anger, frustration,
just
fear.
Hate, and that the anger
becomes hatred.
Yeah. And by the way, your halo is very red today.
Well, Kenny, you know what it is because it's not red. And you're right, it does look red. It is cold and dark and dreary outside. So I have all this artificial light that's bouncing off my red, like redwood paneling. Mm-hmm. So I think it's making me red.
Well, I've never seen anything quite like it.
Really?
Yeah.
But not quite like it, but do you like it? Let's say I had a red henna in my hair and
that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Do you like it?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
No, it's really weird.
No, but my skin tone is red. There's just something
red,
wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the lighting here.
Yeah.
So how do we uplift ourselves now, Kenny?
Okay, I'll bring something up.
Okay. Porn?
No.
Good porn story?
No, I don't do that on air. Um, Pamela Anderson
Okay, I'm listening.
went to some kind of Vanity Fair event and she didn't wear any makeup.
Okay.
You didn't hear about this?
Well, this was a story. I didn't
It
hear
was a
about it.
big
It
story.
didn't.
Go
It
ahead,
didn't
Google
make the
it right in front
Enclave
of
of
me.
Waterloo.
Pamela Anderson, no makeup party. So she goes there, and then I forget some other big celebrity wrote, "She is my hero," that she would go out in public without makeup.
Yeah.
Well, you know how these things become a thing. And so
Right.
the people now are giving their opinion as
Okay.
to, should women wear makeup? Should, is it, and the fact that, and some women have been writing about, well, they've had writing and going, oh, thank God she did that. I've always felt oppressed that by men, that I had to look a certain way, and now I can go outside and just be myself. And as far as I was concerned, I was she looked natural.
Yeah.
She's still a beautiful woman, but yeah, she wasn't made up. But the thing that I find more disturbing is I'm okay with that. It's the plastic surgery that they get.
Yeah. The implants and the collagen and the big lips and all of these things and the eye tucks and the neck tucks all look like a bad drawing of who the person used to be. An
So
exaggeration or a
are
bee
more
sting.
women? I guess this is like back in the '60s when women burned their bra. Women going to start burning their makeup cases, and how do us men feel about that?
Well, by gum, Kenny, look. I have always found it strange that men don't wear makeup, women do. And it's so much easier to not wear makeup. And when in my relationship with my wife, or certainly when I dated girls and years ago, when they weren't wearing makeup, I thought they were just as beautiful. In fact, more beautiful, because I would think, oh, that's who you are without the eyelashes and things like that. I don't think it's men making that. I don't think it's fair to say men are making us do this, because I think we're fine for the most part. I think it's propagated largely from women's magazines and women looking at women and being competitive in that respect. Oh, she has such beautiful big eyes and big lashes and full lips. I want that too. I don't think
Right.
this is a dictate from men particularly.
Well, they're some are blaming us.
Well, some will, yes,
They'll
and
always be.
it's you show me a picture of a person, of a woman with lots of makeup, and his hair is such, and I'll say, yeah, she's absolutely beautiful, and then when she takes it off, she looks different. But that's just me assimilating now. If I'd seen the first one first, I probably would have said, oh, she's beautiful. Oh, now she's all made up. I think I'd love to see, as I ramble here, I'd love to see women wear less and less makeup. Just be who you are, show the
Well,
wrinkles,
what's
let
interesting
it
to
fall.
me is if I'm with a woman and I'm drinking, I find she gets so good looking just
That's
by
what
just by the
less
number of
makeup,
cocktails I
more
have.
alcohol. Less
Yes,
makeup, more alcohol.
that's it. You don't have to put on
Absolutely.
makeup. By the time I'm done drinking, you're going to be the most
Well,
gorgeous person in the world.
didn't you say last week your criteria is basically consent?
Yeah, that's very important nowadays. Very important.
Well, of course, it should have always been important,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Again, an area where I never struggled. I never struggled with
I did have an incident. I'll tell you an incident. Okay.
All right, tell me.
Hopefully nobody's listening. When I was a young single guy, I think it was in college at NYU, and I came down to visit my parents who had a condo in Fort Lauderdale. And while I was down there, me and my buddy picked up these two girls and at a nightclub. And the girl was hot. Get out of town hot. And my parents were not home at the condo. And I took her back to the condo. And I started to make out with her. And she starts saying, no, no, no. So I stop immediately. And she says, no, 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 no. You don't understand. I like it,
Oh,
whatever.
I see where this is going.
So I'm going, okay. So I start again. And she
She
continues
says,
to
no,
resist.
no.
She's continuing to resist me. And I'm like, I am so, excuse me, I am baffled. I don't know how you can have me continue while you're yelling at me
Saying
to leave you
no.
alone.
And this is in the context of many decades ago. You couldn't today. I'm sorry, if you're
Oh,
going to say no, even if that's your thing, no is no.
yeah, I just better remember what a disappointing night that was because I found
They-
nothing erotic about me trying to
right.
out with this girl while she
But
was screaming.
just for
"Don't
me
touch
and not for the
me,
sake of
asshole."
any viewer or listener, how did it? Did you just stop? Was it over?
It would just
or did
stop.
you
It just
keep-
stopped. It was like I don't know. Bye. She went home. She got in a car and she went home.
Yeah.
And she's
Well, that
probably telling.
reminds me.
And now, 50 years later, she's probably telling the time about this guy that
Yeah.
was he wouldn't he just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Well, I was thinking the context of the time. We become more aware, we become more conscious of things, and that is
Mhm.
good. Because many years ago, Kenny, was I doing the show with you? I was doing the show with you.
Okay.
I was doing Comic Strip Live. So I'm a relatively young man, 30-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox sent me out with the cast of 90210, and Matt Groening was there, and there was this junket party that with pictures and a photographer. And the photographer's assistant was very flirty, a very beautiful young woman. But she had a job. She got into a Mustang, and I figured, okay, you've got I assumed she was in her late 20s, a few years younger than me. Well, she calls me up and says, hey, do you want to go out? And okay, one thing leads to another. And I'm thinking, all right, she's professional and attracted to her. One thing leads to another. We're starting to do the Kenny dance here, kiss, kiss, kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there was a few of those, and then it gets a little pettier and pettier.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I've got to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what? Well, I've got a secret.
Mm.
And I'm immediately thinking, okay, it's either venereal disease or herpes, right?
Yes.
She said, I'm 16. Wait, your face isn't changing. I'm 16. She was 16 years old. And I had the presence of mind saying, well,
she looked in her late 20s, you thought?
I thought she was 27. I thought she looked the age of Paul McCartney.
And you said something about her possibly having a job. She
had a job. She was a photographer's assistant. She had her own car.
So
there was my point being this, we didn't interview anybody back then. Okay. We seem like we're in the same ballpark.
So you immediately said,
I
no?
assumed that of course I said no.
Okay. Well,
at least that's,
listen, I'm just going to let you know.
What
it would have taken me a few minutes. I think ultimately I would have came to the same
conclusion
opinion that you did, but I think I would have done a little bit more thought about
it. And I think about that to this day, because if she hadn't told me and then we did it and then she told me, people could have criticized me. Well, why didn't you ask her age? Well, we didn't. I didn't interview someone on a date. Again, she didn't look like a teenager.
And
I didn't interview someone. Yeah. But I would now.
I'm reading the book about the making of the movie Chinatown, and in the movie, so they talk a lot about Roman Polanski.
Yeah, well, they're nice.
Well, okay, well, something that I did not know. In Sweden, the consent age is 16.
Is 9.
No, it's 16.
16. Well, all right. In his world, then, is your point.
Well, I'm also saying that you could have an option that you didn't know you could have bought a plane ticket for Sweden,
right,
2 plane tickets.
Right.
See, that was a possibility.
Yeah. See, it's hard to believe he didn't know that our number was a little higher.
Well, no, but his attraction was
right. Okay.
He was attracted, and you know what? And I believe in the age limit. 16 is too young, but when I was 16, I was horny, probably for 14-year-old girls.
Yeah. Well, we were all doing stuff at 14, 15, and 16.
With girls?
Well, I wasn't. But my friends were. My friends were having sex parties at 14.
So they were having sex parties with girls what age?
Other 14-year-olds.
See? That's what I'm talking about. How come they get to do it?
Those lucky 14-year-olds. Well, yeah. Well, but viewers, if you have an opinion on this, please write to the Gary and Kenny Show. We'd love to hear from you. Where should the age of consent be? Well, again, as we mature as a society, we become less mature in terms of where that line of delineation is, because long ago on in this very soil, you could get married at 12 years old.
Yeah.
14 years old.
Yeah.
And you're
That's
dead
horrible.
at 42.
That's horrible. That's a real death sentence right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, now what do you want
Wow.
to talk about?
I want to talk about what's going on in Waterloo. What's the latest?
Well, I was asked to do a fundraiser for the local museum. And they called me up months ago and said, would you participate? Would you do this? And I go, great. So I assume I'm going to do what I always do, which is the MC, and I become the auctioneer and we raise some money. And it's only in a week. And they called me up yesterday and said, is your act ready? And I go, my act? What do you mean? Well, you're the entertainment. I'm the entertainment? Yeah, we were hoping you'd entertain us for a couple of hours.
Hours?
Like doing what? Well, comedy and play the piano and skits. See, in the I'm belaboring the enclave of Waterloo, but in this small area, people go, okay, he was in show business. He did Saturday Night Live. We'll just give him a microphone and he can entertain for 2 hours. And I said, I don't.
Wait a second. This is really you. Are they expecting this, or did you put them straight and say,
well,
I don't do that?
Well, I got serious about it when I saw the poster live from Waterloo. It's Gary Kroger on Saturday night or something like that.
Right.
So they're selling tickets for $40 a piece. So I'm going to come up with an act. But I did say,
well, not for hours. Nobody can come up with an act for
no,
hours.
I'm going to come up with I'm going to fill an hour with a funny motivational speech that I give based on my life.
Hey, you know, it'd
as
be
an
a fun
actor.
idea.
Okay, please.
So you're up there, right?
Yeah.
And you go, let me tell you something. Well, I have multimedia here. So I want to roll a tape of some fun stuff from my
Gary
podcast.
and Kenny Show.
Yeah.
The Gary and Kenny Show.
It's the Gary.
And then just sit back
let's
and
roll
enjoy.
that, please. And we'll roll one of our
Kenny,
shows.
it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. As
Hey,
it
if
is right
anybody
now, I'm
comes
going to
up
tell
with
a
an
funny
idea worse than
story.
this, I will challenge
I
them.
can sing a few songs, and I recruited my son Chris to play the guitar. We'll play a few songs, sing a few songs, and I wrote a game show of Iowa trivia. So I'll manage to put it together. But again, the assumption was that I
Do you have
come
any
with
of
an
those
act.
questions available now?
Yeah, hang on.
All right.
To do. I'm doing it as the Jeopardy. So I give you the answer and then you ask the question. Famous Iowans for 100. He was the 31st president of the United States.
Howard
Kenny?
Hughes.
First of all, it's a fucking question. Do you get Jeopardy? Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes. Who is
Oh, 31st?
31st?
31st, I'm going to say,
All Iowa
Hoover.
related.
Well, who is Herbert Hoover?
Very good.
I got that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was born in Winterset, Iowa in 1907 and became a Hollywood legend.
1907 legend. Who was Gary Cooper?
No, John Wayne.
Oh, John Wayne. Huh.
John Wayne.
Okay.
And then
He's-
I throw this in for fun.
Yeah.
This game show host and SNL has-been was born in Waterloo, Iowa.
Huh.
Yeah, you're
That's
struggling
a
with
tough
that
one.
huh?
There's so
Yeah.
many has-beens from that show. I can't.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Was
Yeah.
it Brad Hall? It was Brad Hall.
Very good. Who is Brad Hall? All right. And I'm getting a call. I'm going to hang it up.
Okay.
So, all right, I'll give you a couple more of these.
All right.
Ottumwa, Iowa is the hometown of this MASH character.
Of the what?
This MASH character.
Well, it's Lone Ranger, the mask.
MASH, MASH,
Oh,
M-A.
MASH.
MASH.
Oh, the character.
Yeah.
Not the
Was
actress.
born
the
in
character.
Ottumwa, Iowa. Is the hometown of this MASH character.
Yeah, Colonel Blake,
No, who is Radar O'Reilly?
who was Radar O'Reilly.
Who's Radar?
Yes.
And then there's things like this.
These
Yeah,
are tough. These are tough.
These are fun, though. They're fun. There are
Yeah.
3.5 of these for every person in Iowa.
There are 3.5 of these for every
person
Okay,
in Iowa.
I got it. What are mosquitoes?
No. What are hogs?
Hogs.
Mosquitoes. There's zillions of mosquitoes. What? Anyway, so I created this little thing. So that'll be fun. And I'll
Mhm.
bring up panelists and give them a T-shirt with my picture on it or something. So that's a happy note.
See, are you going to record it?
If somebody does, I could have my son record it on a cell phone and play it on the show. Watch me die.
Well, maybe we'll play a little bit of it
all right.
and go, hey,
Okay,
here's a little
all
thing
right.
I did,
Okay,
for the little
fair
town of
enough.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
I'm going away, Gary.
Where are you going?
October 30th. I shouldn't say this because if somebody listens to that, come rob my house. Although my house will be protected, I'm going to have 10 friends sleeping over, and a couple of them are
Big friends. Big friends.
A couple of them are gun owners. Yeah, that's right.
Big gun owning friends. Yes.
Yeah.
So
anyhow,
sometime you're going to go where this month?
I'm going first to Istanbul.
Holy shit.
Istanbul. Yes.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going to be gone for like 2 weeks. And yeah, it is amazing. It's kind of interesting. And we had to get a visa to go to Turkey. You didn't have to do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. We're ending on a sober note. And on that,
Well,
Kenny,
let's
I've
give
got-
people something to look forward to. We'll be doing another show next week. Hopefully, I don't know. We're trying to get Kirk Ward, but the
trying to get
actors are
Kirk
still
Ward, but
on
this
strike.
doesn't look like the strike's going to end anytime soon.
No. It's really, yeah, it doesn't. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, you're just going to be stuck with
Gary and Kenny and Kenny's Enclave in Calabasas. I'm in Waterloo. Thank you for watching or listening. We're on YouTube, The Gary and Kenny Show. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. All the popular podcast platforms. We're also on streaming television on DB TV. So until next time, so long.
Adios.